Greetings, travelers, and welcome back again to Custom NPC tutorial series. As promised, we will get into the dialogues and quests. So we'll just dive right in and get started. So under the global section, because you need to set it up here first, and you'll see why soon enough. But we're going to go for the dialogues first, and as I was talking in the previous episode, setting up categories. So we were making a guard. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new category, and we're going to rename it guard, just to fit what we've been talking about. That sets up a category that all guard related dialogues will be in this section. So we now need to have a dialogue. So this one we're just going to call hello. That's going to be what we use to help keep track of. This is going to be our initial dialogue. So the dialogue text, the buttons in here, we have dialogue text, availability, faction, dialogue options, quest if possible, sounds if you want to, and show more says set up mail, console commands, whether or not to hide the NPC, show the dialogue wheel, disable, escape. In other words, you have to press the selection, you can't just get out of it. So for the first part, dialogue. So when we right click on this guy, once we assign the dialogue, what do we want him to say? So we're just going to type, and in this mod, if you do @P, it'll be the player that they are currently interacting with. So I'm rather busy today. Alright, and then availability, we're just going to leave, we'll do during the night. So that means that if you right click him during the daytime, nothing will happen. If you click him at night, you'll get the dialogue box. Now we don't have any, this is the initial dialogue, so there won't be anything else here, but we'll kind of cover that here in a moment. Faction. Well, what do we want to do for the faction? Do we want to, after we talk to him and get this dialogue, do we want it to increase, decrease faction? You can have two options here. So you can actually have it set up where, the idea is if you do one thing that improves, say, your faction with aggressive, it decreases with friendly, or vice versa. Or maybe it increases the faction at differing amounts, but it, for two different factions. It's up to you which two factions, if you even want to use it. Dialogue options. Now this is when you're talking to them, what's it going to do? Now for me personally, I always set the exit one down here at the very last one. So we'll just call this one, have a nice day. And color, for ease and convenience, I tend to make the color so that it actually makes sense. So we can go here, 0. Oh. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. 0, 0, 0, 0. So I don't want blue. So let's do this. There we go. Red. Kind of represents, we're done. And then disabled means the dialogue doesn't show up. Roll means if this is a shopkeeper, this brings up the shop. Command block. What this does is it will, when you press that option, it will run basically as if it was a command block, run that command in the console. Or if you have command blocks, the output off, you won't see it, but it'll still run it. Example is, I've used this to have an NPC give players a book that they need, or to teleport players somewhere, or to reset faction for certain aspects. There's anything you could type in the console for a command, you can have it run here. Close, just that. Closes the dialogue, you're done. Dialogue, if there's another dialogue that you want them to lead into for, say, a conversation, then you would select the next dialog, and that would get here. And then back to disabled. So we're going to use this one as closed, because that's what the purpose is for this one. Sometimes you'll see that it doesn't show up. It's there. It's just a slight bug. He is aware of it. So the next thing is, I hear you might need help. So we're going to leave this white because it's just a regular dialog. And for now, we're going to set it for dialog, even though we don't have one set. We're going to make a new one. And then, of course, back again. All right, so now we're going to create a new one. And we'll call this Need Help. And before we get started on this one, we're going to go back here. And we will change the dialog. Remember, we selected it. So now we go in here, and there's the next one. So when the player clicks on that in the dialog menu, it will take them to the next dialog. And here we're going to go interested. Alright, so now this one, and again we're going to still leave the availability alone to be default because it's linked to the other one. So here's the thing, when you have availability for, you can set it for any piece of the dialogue so that, maybe you only want them to do 3 steps of 6. You can set the availability where that dialogue is not available ahead of time, but if you're setting up for, say, a quest granter, what I typically do is I only do availability on the very first one, because if that one doesn't show up, none of the others will either, because they're linked to that first one. So faction we'll leave alone. The dialogue options. So this one is going to be right before the quest. So we're going to go, on second thought, maybe not. And again, we will do red. F 1 2 3 4 to show that we're closing it out, and close again. And then for this one, we're going to go, I think I could do that for you. Now what I do on this one is I'll go the green. You can choose whatever colors, it's just this is how I do it in order to set apart which dialogues do what. And it becomes very easy for the players because they know that, that one's for a quest. Gives them some visual clues on what is going on. Now we'll still link it to the next dialogue, which we don't have yet. We're going to make it. And then that way it's set up. So if we come out of here, now we're daylight. So all he's going to do is the bank. And actually, while we got daytime, we will go back in and we will actually fix that. A good example. So this guy is a banker. So one of the dialogues we're going to do here is, I need my deposit box. And what I do on those is I make them yellow. It just made more sense for me. But again, it's all about color preference for you. You can do whatever you want to do. One. FF. And then 00. There we go. The reason I don't do any of the fancy numbers is just because that way every dialogue is the same exact. I don't have to worry about it remembering. F's and zeros are very easy. So this one will do roll. So now, if we right click, it's daytime, so that other dialogue won't show up. Well, actually, none of it will. This is a good thing. We forgot one more step. So now we pull up this guy. Under Advanced, we have dialogues. You have 11 options. The easiest way to use these is, let's say you have the NPC has different things to say for different situations, like they've completed one quest or they've completed a different dialogue. You could set that up on a single dialogue chain, although it's very complicated. It's easier to have one single dialogue chain for one purpose, and then have different ones for the different purposes. So like this one will do the one that we just created. If we had created a second quest that we wanted to offer that only was available after the first one was done, we create a new dialogue chain, have this one with the availability set after the other quest is complete. But we will go here, because that's the first one in the quest chain. And because it's daytime, that other dialogue still won't happen, because that dialogue is set up to only show up at night. Remember that. So if we go nighttime, and then right click, suddenly he's talking to us. So you can see where we got already. So there's our closing. There's to open up the bank at night. And there is the second part to going into the next quest. So that's where we're going to go next, is we need a dialogue. So we're going to go here, create a new one. We're going to go accepted just for the being able to keep track. All right, thank you for being so willing to help. Can you kill some zombies for me? Okay, so we go back here to need help. We go back here to the dialogues and select the dialogue. Okay. So we're back here. Availability, we're going to leave it the same it is. Faction, the same. Dialogue options, this one. Since this is going to be basically the end, what I do is I'll be back soon. And then I change the color for that one. Again, all about the visuals. Because if you do enough of these, then the player knows, okay, this is the end of the dialogue chain. I'm done. And since it's the only one that technically should be in here, I mean, you can add more. Again, this is just the basics. You can add, as you can see, up to 6 different dialogues if you want to get really, really complicated. I'm just showing you the basics of setting this stuff up. So what you can do at this point is we need a quest, because we asked for the player to do that. So now we go into the quests. We're going to go ahead and just use this category, or actually, because that was the one that we did before. So let's go back to category. We're going to rename this Guard. And then this one is going to be, we'll call it Death to Zombies. Completing test is, thank you so much for your help. Hope this will help you out. Okay, and the quest log, this is where they're going to be able to see what they're currently needing to do for quests. So, the guard has asked you to kill the zombies. I think we should kill about 20. Kill about 20 of them. That should be enough. Period. Okay, so that gives you, this is what shows up while the quest is in progress. This is what will show up when you return with the completed. Reward. Now, that's very easy. So you have one option in here, yes or no for random item. In other words, you can have up to 9 different items, and if it's set to random, one of those 9 is what the player will get. If you set it to yes, all of the items in here is what they will get. Now, a reason you would use maybe a random, one suggestion is if this is going to be a repeatable quest, then each time they'd get something different, kind of give some replayability for the quest. Experience, this is Minecraft experience, so keep in mind, 25 experience will make a player, I think, level 10 right off the bat. So this is the amount of experience they get for completing the quest, not including what they get from killing the mobs. Alright, so what we're going to do is, well, I like the wood, so we're just going to give them 61 wood and 50 experience when they complete it. Alright, so the type. Now there are several types of quests. Item, which means go find an item and bring it back and give it to him. Dialog, which means after you've talked to the same guy or a different guy, whenever you've hit that specific dialogue in the chain, that completes a quest. Kill, you go kill X number of things. Location, go to point B, and there is a separate item for marking that, and then that completes the quest. Area kill, which means everybody that's on this quest, if somebody kills whatever it is, everybody that's on the quest within the range gets credit for the kill. So in this case, we're the only ones here, so we're going to do regular kill. Now you're going to choose what either NPC or player or regular mob. So the thing to keep in mind, NPC or player, the name has to be exact. Case and everything. So you can use this to go kill other NPCs. You could use this as a way for, one faction to say, hey, go kill this player over here. In our case, we wanted to do zombies, so we'll just scroll all the way down because apparently it doesn't want to do otherwise. So bear with me while we scroll way down to the bottom of the list, because there's a lot of mobs in this pack. Oh, almost there. U, W. Oh, look. Oh, no. I was wrong, because that was Lord of the Rings. Thaumcraft, Witch, and of course Zombie way at the bottom. And we said 20, so we're going to change that to 20. Hit back. Repeatable, that's where you would decide, can they repeat this quest after they? So you go yes. In other words, immediately after completing it, you can go right back in and do it again. Minecraft Day means every 20 minutes you can repeat the quest. Minecraft Weekly, so every 140 minutes or just over 2 hours, you can repeat the quest. Real Life Day, so every 24 real hours they can redo the quest. Real Life Weekly, same thing. Every 7 real life days, or not repeatable. We're going to leave it not repeatable for now. For the advanced. Now, advanced, this particular example, not going to have a lot of use, but this is one where when they complete the quest, they can get some increase in factions, so we can just do 1,000 increase when you complete the quest. The other options are set up mail. You can have, when this quest is completed, the player gets sent mail, as if somebody really honestly sent it to them. You can even link it up that when they receive the mail, they get another quest. You can set the message. You can put items up to 4 items that they can put in here, and the player when the player gets the mail, they'll get those items. The other options are the next quest. So if completing this quest unlocks the next quest in a series, then you would select the next quest. Or by completing this quest, there's a console command. So maybe you have a quest where the player has to go get a specific item to be able to go to a different land. Once they hand in the item to the NPC completes the quest and teleports them to that land. So in other words, hey, I need this part for a dimension travel device that I'm working on. Can you go get me that part? And it will send you over there. So as soon as you hand in the part, quest complete, he teleports you to that area that he was trying to get to. So those are some of your options on there. So we'll leave this here. And we're going to have to go back to dialogues. And accepted. And now we can go in here and select the quest. So, now that we're done, we will set it back to night. right click, and now we go. So see, new quest, and I'll be back soon. So we're on peaceful, so we won't be able to do that part, but we'd kill those 20 zombies, come back, he would give us the wood and the experience, quest complete, and then that's it. We're done. Now you can chain that again. Like I said, there are several points I showed you where doing something we can link right into another quest, either directly or through mail, or you can have it to another dialogue for a quest that opens up after a quest is complete. It's up to you on how you want to do that. That's pretty much the basics on how to set up the quests. The key is most of the work on your dialogues and quests will be done in the global tab, and then you'll figure out what your main part of a quest and dialogue chain is. That's what goes into the dialogue tab under advanced for the NPC. So, all I can say at this point is, if you do have any more questions or want some clarification on the quests and dialogues, by all means, just leave a comment, and I will be more than happy to set up a video to kind of explain any of the questions that I get in this video series. But that's pretty much the basics for dialogues and quests and how to set them up. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and you guys have a great day.